All right, let me try to boil it down like this. This is what I was thinking. I was trying to put it in 3 categories, okay? So here's how I put it, okay? And it's got actually nothing to do with placements, really. Placements are a derivative. They're like a result of these things. So here's what I got. Okay. Technique, execution, awareness. That's it. And then and let me know if I'm missing something, because technique is what you're doing, execution is how you're doing it, and awareness is why you're doing it. Right? So technique is how expansive is your tool set, defense and offense. How much do you got going on there? Execution is obviously not just combos, but how well are you executing the game plan that you have? All of it. Offense, defense, movement in general. And awareness is knowing why. Like, why did you choose that defensive option? Why did you choose that? And most people have pretty good technique, pretty good execution, but the awareness is what I think separates players. Like, Chobo, could you tell me why you do half the things that you do? I don't really think so. Like, why do people do the things that you do? When you perform a technique, why do you do it? Is it because it's the first thing that comes to mind? Is it applicable to the situation, or is it just that's what you do? When you get knocked down, do you just wake up at V-shift because you want to? Or do you have some sort of awareness that in this situation, maybe you back roll on a knockdown because you know on a back roll they don't have Oki there. But if you quick rise, they get Oki. Something like that. Like, or did you back rise because you quick rise the first time? A lot of people show awareness in their combos. So like you do EX demon flip to get him to the corner. There's some awareness. So a lot of people have that. A lot of people have offensive awareness when it comes to combo routes, because it's something that we can easily practice in training mode between matches. So I can easily find like an optimal situation for Ken, like, oh, what if I just want to get him to the corner and take the most damage? Like, EX Tatsu, fly across the screen. So, Cho, to answer your question, I really do think awareness is something that the lowest level player can have. Like, let's say, for example, we were watching that Bronze Akuma, and all he was doing is crouch fierce into sweep. Well, he's aware of what he's doing, but the only thing is that's the only thing he's aware of. But it's so simple. I'm gonna try to jump fierce, crouch fierce, sweep, and he's aware of that. He's not aware of anything else. How many techniques do you have? And then there's people who are aware of all these techniques, so they know that they exist. You know something like a shimmy exists, but you don't do it. Or you know something like a particular mix-up and you don't do it. Or I know I should do this more often, but you don't do it. Applying technique is totally different than knowing technique, because any casual can sit there and watch some MMA and see a chokehold and be like, oh, I know what that is. But there's no way you'd be able to get that yourself, you know? So I think that's what it pretty much boils down to. I can't think of anything else I need to add to that. What, how, and why? How often can you do the thing is a big part of it too. Just now, for example, I was executing incorrectly and lost games I shouldn't have lost. Therefore, I could be better in that way. And how many techniques did I apply in those matchups? Nothing elite, you know? And my awareness was low too. I got hit by every EX low, even though it's right there on the screen. He has a bar, he's full screen. What do you think's going down, Buster? That's how I measure things. So I can watch a tournament, and as I see them progress or lose, you can see technique, execution, awareness. Like, let's do a test run. When you watch this with a casual eye, how are you supposed to know how good these players actually are? Like, imagine if Step 4 just won and he just kept clipping it with crouch medium kick, HP, DP the whole time, and that's it. We're not seeing a ton of different techniques. We're seeing one super well executed one. That's where the execution comes into play too. How well can you execute? You can do crouch medium kick into HP DP one time. Can you do it every single time? That's execution is just as important as the technique. So you want to add techniques to your game plan. But if you are 50% on executing all of them, you're still going to lose just as much as if you had one technique and knew how to perfectly execute it. That's why some of these autopilot players are so good. They very rarely screw up. They're autopilot, they're not even really in the match in that way. Like, they don't know what they're doing defensively, but they just have done the same thing so many times that they never miss. Trump Tight is an example of peak execution. Remember, I don't know if you're joking or not, but it is. He doesn't miss what he's trying to do. I actually don't think you are joking, but he's a perfect example of someone who has very little technique, but every time he gets that oki, every single time. Imagine if he had like several more techniques and had that same execution, he'd be the warlords that you see. The warlords are the same thing, just with more techniques. Trump tight with shimmies, mix-ups, optimization is a warlord. Hit confirms, he's a warlord. Matchup awareness, he's elite. Ask yourself this right now. How much technique do you have? How good is your execution? Could you do everything that's in your tool set 10 times in a row right now? Could you do the jump in combo? Could you do the hit confirm? Could you get the throw oki 10 times in a row? And then when you're watching a replay, could you tell me why you did the things that you did? Those are the 3 things.